People should start joining soon. Hello, everybody. So I see we already have some participants here with us. Good morning and welcome. Let me just see if more people will join, and then we can get started.
Yeah.
Okay, we are almost there. There are more people joining. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, I think we can get started. We already have 10 attendees here with us. So let's move forward. So thank you for joining us today. Good morning, everyone. Again, welcome to our webinar. Today, we are going to talk about using AI to save energy and optimize resources. This is a webinar powered by IP Telecom and Twin Pulse, and I am Gabriela Oliveira. I work as a project manager at Twin Pulse, and today I'll be your moderator, and I'm here to introduce our speakers as well. I kindly ask you to keep your microphones off and share any questions that you may have in the Q&A chat. You can see the chat icon on the bottom of your screen. At the end of the presentation, at the end of the webinar, we'll save some time to address all of your questions. This webinar lasts for 1 hour. And on today's agenda, we'll have 2 short sessions to talk about IP Telecom and Twin Pulse. So the first about session is about IP Telecom, and we'll have here with us Rui Ribeiro. Rui is the general manager of IP Telecom, and previously he held a position as sales and customer service director at Infraestruturas de Portugal. And he also worked as information system director at Estradas de Portugal. And at the academy, he is the executive director of Lusófona Information Systems School and professor at Lusófona University. Rui holds a PhD in applied business management for information system, an MBA, and a BSc degree of computer engineering. Then we also have an about session about Twin Pulse with Paulo Nunes. Paulo is our CEO at Twin Pulse, and he's the founder of the company. He has a BSc degree in computer science and an MSc in machine learning. He has more than 20 years of experience in developing scientific and enterprise software and building experience in software, AI architecture, engineering, and applications of NLP and machine learning. He has worked for the European Space Agency, European Southern Observatory, and the insurance industry. Then we'll have a case study with Nuno Miranda. He will share a practical example of energy efficiency. Nuno is the head of data science at Twin Pulse with 13 years of experience in software engineering in data science. He has worked in several private companies as well as the governmental sector, and also as an assistant professor at University of Évora. He has a BSc degree in computer science, a master in data science, and he's working towards his PhD in data science as well. And he has 15 scientific papers published in the field of AI and data science. Last but not least, we'll have a demonstration of UltraTime series product with Mark Giambetti. Mark is a product manager at Twin Pulse. He has more than 15 years of experience and takes pride in delivering innovative digital and AI projects throughout various industries. Mark has international experience and work background and has lived and worked in Luxembourg, Switzerland, Germany, and the United States. And as I mentioned before, we save some time at the end to address all the questions you may have. I kindly ask you again to share your questions in the Q&A chat that you can see on the bottom of your screen. And please let us know who the question is for. Before we get started, I just like to comment that the theme of this webinar comes towards the current tendency of energy costs to increase, and that the companies in general have been challenged to deal with that. And with that being said, to be more efficient as companies and to keep the commitment to the environment and the sustainability theme during this webinar, as you could see, we'll share a practical example showing how energy efficiency can be achieved with artificial intelligence. We expect that you leave this webinar inspired by how to optimize resources and be sustainable by using AI. And to get the ball rolling, I'd like to call our first speaker, Rui Ribeiro from IP Telecom, where you can get started once you're ready. Thank you all.
I'm ready. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay. First of all, being as the general manager of IP Telecom, I would like to thank you all the participants to join us today in this event that we do with our partner To Impulse. Which is one of our, I would say, bets on artificial intelligence, which is quite important for us and for our customers and for our services that are delivered for the customers. Okay. For those who don't know IP Telecom, and this brief presentation that I will make is just precisely for you to understand what we do. And of course, I will, in this corporate presentation, I will make some bridges to today's event, today's webinar, in order for everyone to understand what is the value added that this kind of solutions of artificial intelligence are delivering us in our business. Okay. So briefly, we are a company with more than 20 years where we've made, and we are today probably the major high-speed networks here in Portugal, which means that we provide the main fiber optics connectivity, or what we call high debit or high speed connectivity for the telco providers, for the markets, for the overall economy here in Portugal. I will present you later the high scope of those networks. Okay, and this is one of our, I would say, our main business, which is provide connectivity for Portugal. And the other business, it's precisely on the cloud environment, where this year we even have presented our new generation of IPT Cloud, which is an edge of technology in the cloud environments for the infrastructure as a service and platform as a service solutions for enterprise players. And we, as you will see in here, we have a set, in a huge set. I will not go in detail on this, but we have a huge set of assets that we need to manage in order to deliver high quality services for our customers. We are a state-owned company, which means that we need to assure, and in order to be in the market, we need to assure that we have the high quality services. A reason why we invest a lot on certifications and credentiations. So we are ISO 27K and ISO 9K certified. We have technicians with Uptime Institute certifications. We have several, I would say, security layers, credentiations, in order to also to provide services for I would say more strict environments, besides those fiber optics and telco channels in the roads, and also the 3 data centers. Okay, so we are across the overall country. We have also for international connectivity, which in our case with Spain. So from the north to the south, we are our networks and our teams are spread across the country, and we have those 3 data centers, Lisboa, Porto, and Viseu, which benefit precisely on these high-speed networks that we provide for the overall economy in here. So the traditional, I would say, the traditional services that we have across the networks. So infrastructures like I told you, fiber optics, and a set of services of communications, internet and transmissions, VPN. So these typical, I would say, typical telco services. But our core business, it's the infrastructure side as a wholesale company for this market in Portugal. On the cloud service environment, what we do is precisely to deliver public and private clouds, okay, in an infrastructure as a service way of doing business. So the IPT cloud environment, it's again the edge of technology today in Portugal, and it's I would say similar in terms of new technology like the hyper cloud providers, with the advantage and the set of advantage of being in Portugal with the high-speed network. So we have the telco and communications engineering, and also the cloud engineering working together with several cases. So, and then we have also the platform as a service, the cybersecurity and data protection environments and set of service, and software as a service. And in this case, 2Impulse, it's one of our partners that is benefiting of our this edge of technology in the cloud environments, precisely to deliver their solutions in the market. In this case, AI. Information solutions and service, so on. Saying this, and today and even this month is the cybersecurity month, so just to understand that what we do in the case like 2Impulse, it's more or less the same. The technology that we use in this case for our cybersecurity ecosystems, we also are able to provide to our customers. So this set of environments or solutions on the cybersecurity field, we also are able to provide to some the market for our customers, which benefits also from all the all over environment. This is an example of what we do with 2Impulse. We are today using 2Impulse technology in our benefits, internal business cases, in order to and today what we do with 2Impulse is also using that technology to deliver to the market throughout 2Impulse environments, which are in our cloud system. So basically what we connect is an ecosystem. So just to remember that we have a motto which is connecting businesses, which means that we are working for companies and providing service to connect their customers to their overall partners, suppliers, and so on. So, and our vision is precisely to have this IPT cloud as a portal, an entrance to connect all their environments, all their technology in one single door, even to integrate with other tools in other clouds and so on. So today we have 3 data centers that are working as one and are able to work as one in this area. And what we do, and just for you to understand, this is our networks on the roads and railway infrastructure where we have fiber optics, high-speed connectivity, where we manage all those connectivities in several tools. In this case, it's a partnership that we have with Nokia, where we manage all the traffic and monitoring all the data. And this is quite important for what we will see in this webinar, where we are using. So what we do is to surpass data to information, to knowledge. And today with 2 Impulse, we are working on that precisely to have predictive analysis in order to assure that our operation is better, is more efficient, to manage and to provide again service. So these are, and we will see a short video after during this webinar where where our facility manager shares its experience on managing the energies of the data centers, all the controls. We are able to provide all the connectivity and service levels to our customers that are able to see what is the service delivered by our teams, our cloud environments, our backup environments. So everything is under control. All the cybersecurity. This is a set of tools to manage all the. And again, in here we also have a set of tools with artificial intelligence, which is the only way to provide services in this area. Okay, and this, of course, at the end. I'm finishing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I was just
And
telling that you should finish.
of course, we have people at the end, which are our DNA for the customers at itself, working 24/7. Okay, and a set of customers, just briefly, and to hand this presentation. And again, I congratulate also 2 Impulse for their expertise on data science, which is fantastic reason why we are working with you, 2 Impulse. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rui. I'd like to remind you, if you have any questions to be addressed by Rui, please send them on the chat. And now I'd like to call our next speaker, Paulo Nunes, to tell us about 2 Impulse.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks again, Rui, for giving us this opportunity to do the joint webinar. So I'm going to try to be brief, talk a bit about 2 Impulse, what we do. So we are a team around 60 people, spread between Portugal and a bit of people in Germany as well, and we have a person in Spain and one in Luxembourg. So we are a bit spread out Europe, and we help companies in their digital transformation. In particular, we help them using technology, and so we are a tech company. And we help them do one of those 4 things that you can see in this slide on the right side. And one of them is to become data-driven, to become more efficient, more customer-oriented, and innovative. So we are a tech team, mostly software engineers, data scientists. We've got some consultants and project managers. Usually customers talk to us when they have a specific idea already, more or less mature to what they want to do. Like in the case of IP Telecom, we already had an idea of a challenge that they had and they needed help. So usually we do that. We also do some consultancy, meaning we help some customers find out what the best opportunities for innovation are, but that's not our biggest strength. Our biggest strength is tech. And that's what we usually do. So we also act as a capacity extension sometimes for innovation labs in insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies. So companies like this, they typically have an innovation lab, innovation unit with some data scientists, some engineers that are very creative, and they come up with lots of ideas. And then when it comes to implementing the ideas in reality, that's where we come in. So this is basically our mission as a company. How do we do that? Again, with technology, and there's a number of things that we do. We are focused on artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, and the engineering thereof. So it has, so typically one example project, and we could spend some time talking about use cases, but it's today we are going to focus on IP Telecom. So we automate conversations with customers using conversational AI, so-called chatbots or voice bots. We automate processes based on documents for insurance companies, for example. A lot of them are very heavy on paperwork, so we help them automate that using natural language processing. We work with time series data, which is what we did here with IP Telecom. Collecting, storing, processing that data, making predictions, creating predictive models around that. And we do, of course, these things don't work if you don't integrate them. So you also need engineering, software engineering, and IT engineering in general. So we have a bunch of customers. We are mainly, we have our center of gravity in Portugal in terms of team. In terms of customers, it's a bit towards the outside of the country. So our main customers are in Germany, Switzerland, and the USA. We are starting to work with Portugal. IP Telecom is one of our most important customers in Portugal, but we also started working with Caixa Geral de Depósitos, and we are starting to work in Portugal. It's becoming very interesting. So I have offices in Évora, Lisbon, and Munich, Germany. And we also have a podcast called Real AI Now. Rui, I think you were a guest in our past podcast in one of the episodes already. So
that one will be released, Paulo, I think in the next time. So anyone interested in the topic can join or be curious. I think next week is going to be the week.
Right. So that's it's a lot of fun, I have to say. It's something that we've been doing since the beginning of the year, and it's been a lot of fun. We have very interesting guests. We had Rui recently from IP Telecom. We're going to have the CEO from WeShare, which is a company in the creative space. We're going to have the CEO from Adrinka, which is a company that does computer vision for drones. So we have a lot of interesting conversations there. So it's a lot of fun doing it, and I think it has value to our audience. So it helps build a bridge between technology, and sometimes people hear about artificial intelligence, and we try to make it real to kind of make that connection. What does this mean, machine learning, to my business, right? And we do that. We talk about banking, insurance, manufacturing, all kinds of telecom, so all kinds of activities. So yeah, that's it. So we are still at the beginning of the journey as a company, and we grew. So we created around 6 years ago, and we grew to 60 people. There is a lot of potential for implementing these kind of things in the market. There's a lot to do, and we're having fun. So I think now I hand over back to Gabriela.
Thank you so much, Paulo.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to call our next speaker, Nuno Miranda, to show us a practical example.
I will start screening to share my screen in just a second. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm Nuno Miranda. I work as a data scientist in Impulse. And I will talk a little about this case study of energy efficiency in the data centers. To start, I will start with this sentence, the sentence from International Energy Agency, and says that 2% of global energy is consumed by data centers across the world. This is a massive number. This gives the idea of the relevance and magnitude of this topic. Because when we talk about 2% of global energy just for data centers and cooling systems around that, this is a very relevant topic that we want to optimize and to be more green around it. Here I also have more information, some numbers about that topic. For example, here it's a study that concluded that 35% of the energy consumption of a data center is spent in just in cooling, in ventilations. That it's a good tip to, if we start to optimize that area, we should start there. We also have, for example, information about the money loss in the inefficient cooling, around 18 billions, or in about 150 billions of kilowatt hour of energy spent in bad airflow in the cooling of the data centers. And just to finalize this is also relevant, is square that say that we can save around 4% of the energy with increase of the temperature of the cooling just by 1 Fahrenheit. 1 Fahrenheit, it's more or less of the Celsius degree, so, but it's also relevant, 4% with just a little change. So optimizing the data centers for energy efficiency is more and more important with the higher needs of digital infrastructure and more dense computing centers. And nowadays, with the skyrocketing pricing of the energy, reducing the consumption, it's not just a green decision, but it's also an economic imperative. And how we can do that? In a data center infrastructure, exists many components that, of course, use electricity. So the main idea is try to change the configuration of these components and try to reduce and optimize the consume. These adjustments are, for example, in the cooling air production, the fan speed, the humidifiers and dehumidifiers, the operating temperature, and the free cooling gauges, for example. Okay, that's it. Next. Now about the specific case study. We already know the EP Telecom have many data centers around the country, and they spend more or less 100,000 euros in energy just around all data centers. So with this value, any little optimization, any little reduction will have a huge impact in the costs. So to optimize that, Twimpulse made a deep study of all data centers, where a significant amount of data about energy consumption was already collected. So that was a good starting point, because in data science we always need data to start. So it was a good scenario to start and to develop our study. And we developed 4 different approaches. The first one was just exploratory knowledge with direct observations and suggestions. So when you detect something wrong in the data center, we we communicate that problem in the moment. So we started to get improvements in that precise moment. After that, and with all the knowledge collected in that stage, we create a set of rules and complex heuristics to be implemented and to allow to validate the continuous optimized situation of the data center. After that, we pretend to create something more interesting, and we started to develop a machine learning models to help to us to give the best set points to apply in the environment of the data center. And the last one was a spatial algorithm to base it on the spatial position of everything inside of the room of the data center, all the sensors, all the air conditioning units, and with that, and also information about the optimum temperatures to run the machines. We create algorithms to also to give the best recommendations possible for each air conditioning unit. After this slide, I think we have a video, Gabriela, from Alexandre.
Yes, I'd like to share a video of Alexandre Bezerra. He is the facilities manager at IP Telecom, and he's responsible for all the data centers. But as he was not able to join us today, he recorded his testimonial about this case study. And that's what we're gonna watch right now. Let's see what Alexandre has to share with us. It seems we cannot hear the audio of the video.
Gabriela, you need to share. When you share, you need to click on the sounds over there in the Zoom.
Industry benchmark.
Yeah,
no, it's working.
Telecom operates 3 data centers, Lisbon, Porto, and Viseu, and it is continually faced with the challenge of increasing the energy efficiency of these data centers as a driver for further cost reduction. Even though IP Telecom data centers, POE, metrics are in line with industry benchmarks, any improvement in these metrics will have a significant impact on the bottom line. We have recently implemented a data center infrastructure management (DCIM) solution to aggregate operation data. This solution also includes dashboards and alarmistics to provide the data center operational manager with visibility over real-time performance. Nevertheless, IP Telecom's DCIM management and decision-making has been performed mostly by real-time monitoring without taking into account data history, and therefore limiting the potential for operational improvement. To begin tackling this challenge with 2 impulses, we have looked for sets of offline operational data stored in the data center management, identified situations that can be quickly corrected, created rules and heuristics that can be implemented, a machine learning created predictive model to give recommendations of the best environment set points to each moment. The initial data was extracted from DCIM via SOAP requests. That same static data frame was also used to try, to learn, and to test the heuristic rules and models. One of the main goals of this project is to change from a reactive to proactive control. These outputs are static and made use of offline data as a result of the first phase of the project. The next step to better analyze these rules and models must be further developed and improved. In addition, they need to be scaled up and integrated in a real-time monitoring system to allow the continuous control and optimization of the data center environment. This approach has allowed IP Telecom to achieve immediate gains in power usage effectiveness, leading to a significant monthly savings in energy consumption. As the next phase, we expect to further work in data analysis, development of rules and predictive models, integration with IP Telecom systems, allowing the full ingestion of the DSIM live data, while providing predictive capabilities and alarmistics in real time, scaling up the benefits of energy savings to the entire data center's operations at IP Telecom. Support and maintenance package with a service level agreement. In order to verify and test the performance optimization model for our data center in Viseu, several days of testing were carried out with Twinpulse, whereas different set points were imposed according to temperature and humidity. We believe that Twinpulse is an ideal partner for this project, as it can bring a solution that fits IP Telecom needs for efficiency gains, together with a proven and a relevant experience in deploying software integration.
Thank you. So we could watch Alexander's testimonial about the case study. Now we have Nuno and Rui Ribeiro to comment on the result analysis.
Okay, I'm sharing again my screen again after the details from Alexandre Bezerra, just to show some results that we already collect from the different approach that we tried. And we pick up just some examples, for example, about the direct observations and suggestions. For example, we detected some problems in the free cooling. So after that changes, we observe a different reduction of 17% of the energy, for example. In a specific room, I think was in Lisbon, we detecting a superfluous AC unit working, that after disable that allowed to that room a reduction of 12%. About the machine learning model that we talked about, the outcome or the optimization, it depends of the situation of the day, and the whole environment of the data center at that precise moment, but we can get some improvements between 2.5 to 8.5% in the energy reduction. And the last one, it's about the rules and the heuristics. We have a lot of them, but just select the one of the most simple, that it's to validate and avoid two humidifiers work against the humidifiers. And just that rule, if we work to avoid that situation, we can reduce around 12.5% of energy. And on the right, you just have some visualizations. We collect a lot of visualization in this study. Just some examples where it's very obvious the difference of the PUE metric when we make the experience, try the different change and to check the impact of the energy.
No, let me give from the business point of view in terms of management, which is again our strategy. It's always to work internally in our I'll say efficiency models, and as we all know, and even as citizens, we understand that this energy crisis that we face since last year, which was, I would say, which has grown more even with the war. So one has created even more difficulties on the energy side, which came from last year. And our main focus on our businesses, and as Nuno showed previously, the data center is a energy high consumption asset of energy, which means that we need to work on that specific case. just to tell you that 6 years ago, in fact, we've started to invest in, I would say, a set of IoT, so IoT sensors, sensoring all the data sensors in order to manage them centrally in an operational layer, which means that we were able, and we are even today, of course, able to start managing all the energy environment centrally, with more than, I think, more or less 8,000 sensors across the several sets of or layers in the data sensor environments, from, I would say, from the air conditioning for the humidifier, from the temperature that is in a rack station, and so on. So we have 8,000 sensors that are delivering data, okay, that are producing data. That's till then we were making in a manual way the corrective and preventive maintenance. So with this new, I would say, operational layer, we were able to manage operationally in a better way. What we are doing now is, and in this case with 2Impulse, is precisely to go deeper on this management, which is not working only on the past information, but predicting the future. And these cases, and as Nuno said, we are improving what was already with a good set of efficiency, but we are going deeper on that management. And this is quite important for us, because the data centers are the center of our business, of one of our businesses. And it's quite important in order to be competitive in the market. So just for you to understand, this crisis surpassed the cost of the data set of the cloud business from the 5%, and the crisis surpassed it to 15%. So we need always to do this work, and this work, as Nuno showed, is quite important to lower the consumption and to be more efficient. Okay, what we are doing now is precisely to have this infrastructure to deliver as a service by 2Impulse to the market. Okay, and this is the business view of the technical view that Nuno presented. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rui. Thank you so much, Nuno.
I think there is a question.
Yes, we'll answer the questions at the end of the webinar. I've already saved it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to call Mark Giambetti to show us how Ultra Time Series works. Mark, whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks also for having the opportunity to present today. Let me quickly share my screen, and we're gonna get started. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. So I saw there was a question. Actually, I think this question will be covered in this part of the presentation. So Ultra Time Series, what is this, and what is the context of this? So we spoke about the energy consumption, the analysis which has been done, and also Rui mentioned there is a lot of sensor data which is continuously creating new data every minute, every second, etc. And in the kind of solution we are envisioning, it's important to continuously use that data to make better predictions of what are the optimal set points, what is actually the configuration of the data center at the particular moment in time. This is exactly what we are currently working on, and where we are using our product Ultra Time Series, which is a time series database. For those of you who are not familiar with time series databases, those are a particular type of databases which are optimized to store timestamp data. So basically data which is collected over time. So exactly the kind of data we're speaking about here, temperature over time, or pressure in a certain velvet, or the like. So in this particular case here, you see there is the data center which creates continuously information about sensor data. Then we also use the data center layout from the DSIM solution, which IP Telecom is using. And we're exactly bringing these type of data together within UltraTime series, within the time series database, to come to those energy savings of up to 25% and to find the optimal set points. This is something, the UltraTime series product as such is something which we have already at the moment, but the energy, let's say, enhancement is what we're currently working on with the teams. So I said it's important to be able to deal with a lot of data, with a lot of time series data, because there is a lot of measure points and that type of data grows very rapidly over time. So it's important to have alerting capabilities to be able to act upon certain events within data, but also to be able to do predictions. And that's what UltraTime series, the time series product we have does. Scratching a bit more on the technical phase. So I think it's a platform for rapid ingestion, storage, and analysis of data. It has open APIs, and anyone interested in using this, we have some in-depth documentation of how to make all of this work. It's possible to connect with common open source tools. It runs in the major clouds and of course also within the IP Telecom stack. So it's building block. If you want to process time series data, UltraTime series is a great way of doing so. What are the core features? I mean, I mentioned efficient time series processing. That's the core value. It's open, so you can connect to the existing tools you may be using, like dashboarding tools, but also connectors like Kafka for data ingestion, etc. We aim to provide forecasting capabilities, so using past data to look into the time and to anticipate certain events. It offers dynamic warning and alerts, as well as a flexible and adjustable data model. So as I was mentioning, the workaround data center optimization is quite fresh. So I won't be able to share something on that particular aspect with you today. But what I want to do to show you the capabilities of UltraTime series is something which is very similar in the operations of factories, so industrial plants. And what I want to quickly show you here is that imagine you have a factory, right, where raw input material comes in. Then you have a lot of different steps where some welding happens, some wire tension is done, some crimping, some gluing. The product is covered. Maybe there is a QR code stamped, and then the goods are shipped. So to keep an overview on your factory, very similar as keeping an overview on your data center, it's important to understand what is going on in which step, and to report those metrics to the central UltraTime series instance. So just to give you an idea, so as an operator of a factory, I can have a real-time look on the various machines to understand what is going on in my factory. Are there any places where data may be getting out of hand? Do I have certain, let's say, unexpected behavior, some temperatures going out, etc.? And that's what can be monitored in real time based on a lot of data which is potentially under the surface. You can also then, for particular machines within that factory, so that would be sensors going in and drilling into these to understand, well, how many elements were processed on that day, were there any particular issues with it, and to anticipate actually problems before they occur so that you can connect upon those. This is, let's say, the front end to UltraTime series, which allows you to get a real-time sense on, may it be your data center, your factory, or the like, you're monitoring with real-time capabilities. to get back to the presentation, so this rounds off a bit. I think we started from, okay, what are we doing? Saving energy in the data center. We learned about, okay, the more statistical analysis and then the machine learning approach and how to do that continuously. And I think ultra time series fits in very well here because it's this capability of processing time series data at scale, which is important. So rounding this off, I think we have a couple of more minutes for Q&A. I want to thank you for my part, and I want to give back to Gabriela and to questions to the audience on all the things we spoke today about.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, regarding one of the questions that we had, the one regarding time series data, can you elaborate more or highlight what kind of requirements are needed?
Yes, so I think what is important is first to understand, okay, what is the time series data you want to store? What are the dimensions? So what are the kind of units? How much data is it? And then I think storing it within ultra time series, it's the question about, okay, maybe what is your technology stack? Where is that data coming from? So to give the example of the project with Telecom we made, so those were SOAP requests, right? So we can go pick up data from a certain format and then store it within ultra time series. The important thing is that it's an open ecosystem. So wherever your data is, we're going to offer possibilities to store it through REST APIs into ultra time series. Or if you have certain requirements with regard to high throughput, there is even more lower layer options to store, let's say, bulk data into the product. I hope that answers the question. If not, the person who asked, please feel free to ask deeper.
Yeah, and Mark, there is another question about the ultra time series. Are there any specific markets where it is focused on?
No, so ultra time series as the time series product is independent of market, but we're now focusing on energy for data centers. So that vertical is the one we're currently dedicating most of our time on. But as such, ultra time series, I don't know, you can store half data coming from your smartwatch or data coming from your smart factory or from your data center. So it's really timestamp data as such, which is what ultra time series can process, but we're focusing on the energy use cases right now.
All right, thank you. There is one more question about ultra time series. So for the ones that are interested in using ultra time series and trying it out, what is the best way to do that?
Okay, so I think the best way to do that is to get in touch with us. I think also as a follow-up to this webinar, we can provide some links where you'll find more, let's say, written information about ultra time series, about how to get started. Ultra time series is available also on Docker Hub. So for those who want to try it out. And there is mini tutorials with videos. So anyone interested in the topic can get started there. If you have a particular interest about or a use case in mind, then I think the best approach would be to speak to us so that we can help you get the most benefit of getting started with the product.
Thank you so much, Mark. And we have another question here about the ultra time series again. This can be deployed on premises or in cloud-based fashion. And and one of our I think this is also asking if it works with the major hyperclouds, and what are the main advantages for using IP Telecom Cloud. Then yeah. I think that the last one can be also answered by Rui.
Yeah. Okay, so I answered the technical one, and I let Rui answer the second part of it. So yes, it runs on virtualized as well as physical hardware. Maybe that's one important point. So it's optimized for let's say for physical hardware if you have throughput requirements, but it's also possible to use it on virtualized environments. It runs anywhere, so to say, on Windows and on Linux as well. And yeah, there is advantages, obviously, of using it within the IP Telecom cloud, which I hand over to Rui.
Okay, just to answer this, basically the main advantages of IP Telecom, and again, IP Telecom only is focused on in Portugal. Okay, so besides, I would say the support and the local support speaking in Portuguese for Portuguese, which is quite important, not only when there are problems, but also when we create specific environments and specific architectures for the customers, which means that we need sometimes to customize the right environment for the specific case in the customer. Is also the ability to have low latency of information. Okay, and I would say that when the real-time series is, let's say, up and running fully, the latency in order to act immediately in the operational environments, it's essential. Okay, because our goal and our vision in this case is precisely to have all the machine learning acting directly in the environment. Okay, this is our goal, and the latency, the communication side, it's essential on this, not only moving lots of data to the cloud of IP Telecom, and the latency here is quite important, but also the real-time acting in the environments. So these are I would say the main advantages of using, in this case, the IP Telecom cloud environment. Okay, with 2impulse. Okay, other business cases and use cases, of course, are applied in other cases. Okay, and
All right.
no.
Thank you, Rui.
That's it. Thank you.
And there we have another question for Nuno Miranda, which is similar to the topic that we have been discussing. The question is, can these approaches be applied to other data centers?
Okay, we talked about 4 different approaches. All of them, yes, can be applied in other data centers. Some of them, at least 2, they will need more integration work. For example, the exploratory analysis. We need to make that exploratory analysis by hand, by a human. So it's a job that needs to be done. And also the approach about the model will be always dependent of the quality of data, because good data will give to us a good model, bad data will give to us a bad model. The other 2 approaches, the set of rules and heuristics and the spatial algorithm, they are much more easy to apply in any data center, just like a simple plugin. Okay, and that's it.
All right, thank you, Nuno. We have another question that I believe that you, Nuno, can comment on, and also Mark and Rui can elaborate more on that. What do you think are the main benefits on the cloud-based deployment? And the other question is if it has fallbacks.
Mark, do you want to start?
I'm not sure. So I don't know. I mean, the advantages of cloud are obvious, right? So I think you get the scalability you may need, right? You also get, I think, low latency and let's say easy access to data. So I think really using ultra-time series in a cloud setup is the way to go, right? It's really let's say better than operating it in your homegrown, home-built data center, right? So I think it's important to have professional data centers where the solution runs in to get the best performance, right? I think that's really key. I'm not sure if that answers the question to a full extent, but if the question goes more into the direction, is it better to run it on kind of like a physical server or on a virtualized server? Both are possible. That very much always depends on the particular use cases. And this is also why I said it's important to get together, sit down and understand what are really the requirements so that we can choose the right technology for a fit which serves the client's needs best.
Complementing what Mark has said, the main advantage of using a cloud environment for AI is precisely the need of computation. Okay, which in a cloud environment like IP Telecom, IPT Cloud, is precisely what we do. I would say that virtually this constraint, which is computation, virtually it is unlimited. Okay, so all the calculations that these machine learning algorithms need, they are of course easily available in a cloud environment than in an on-premise environment, which means that the company needs to buy an hardware which is stuck physically in that moment. The scalability of a cloud environment is precisely what is unlimited. But just to reinforce one also advantage of IPT cloud environments that I forgot to mention. In these AI and business intelligence environments, the typical I would say cloud architecture is to send the data to make the upstream and downstream of data from the on-premise, from the sensors, from the databases inside the company to the cloud environment in order for the algorithms to work. These flows typically, due to the majority of the cloud companies are not telco providers, also these data flows are also, they have a cost. Okay. Using IP Telecom and due to our telco environment, that there is no cost. It's a fixed cost, basically. It doesn't grow in an exponential way. Okay, so, and this is quite important because we are moving a huge set of data each year, growing. So this is quite important. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Rui.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for all the presentations. They were very inspiring. And I'd like to tell you that in case you still have more questions or would like to learn more about how implementing AI to optimize resources, we invite you to get in contact with Twinpulse and IP Telecom. I'd just like to share with you our contacts. So in case you still have more questions, you can contact us at sales@twinpulse.com or also contact IP Telecom account manager, Alexandre Alves, at this email address, alexandre.alves@iptelecom.pt. Yes, Paulo, I think you have a comment.
Yeah, I just want to make a final remark. Thanks again for the Rui, especially Rui and everyone else for the joint webinar. I just want to make a comment, final remark. So we've been speaking to different data center operators in different companies in the manufacturing space and in other areas, and they all have the same challenge right now, which is energy prices. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market, we don't know what's going to happen next year. That's like the worst case scenario is that electricity prices will be 5 times what they are today. Best case, they will be higher and they will be substantially higher. So now, of course, there are things that you can do by design. So you can go back to basics and redesign your data center, rebuild your data center, of course, and you will have to do that on the long term, probably, to make it green and sustainable, if it's not the case right now. But there are things that you can do short and medium term, which is what we did here with IP Telecom, that can immediately give you a productivity, an efficiency gain that can be substantial as well. So there are ways of optimizing and getting that marginal gain, that marginal saving that you can do, and you can do that right now. So if you have this kind of challenge, let's have a conversation, because from what we've been learning, everyone is having this challenge, and basically, I think we can help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paulo. Thank you all for joining us today. And let's keep in touch in case you have more questions. We are here to help. Thank you
Thanks
so
everyone
much,
for joining.
everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank you all.
everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.